How can there be more?
Morbius, there are so many people who said I was the problem.
Okay.
Nick Fury, Eric Selvig, Boar.
A deleted scene from Loki Season 2 has surfaced, where we see Loki talking to Mobius. From the looks of it, this scene seems to belong to Episode 2 of the season. In this scene, Loki is calming Mobius down and telling him, "Do you know how many people have called me terribles?" After this, he starts listing names. While the scene may feel lighthearted, it reveals quite a lot. If you recall, this Loki is the one picked up from the Avengers movie, meaning all the names he mentions are related to his past rather than his future. Among these names, the most significant one he mentions is Hercules, along with Boar. Now, why are Hercules and Boar so important or relevant here? Let me explain. As you might know, Loki is also referred to as the god of stories. But how did he earn this title? In essence, Loki crafted his own origin story. Even though he was the son of Laufey and raised by Odin, all of this was orchestrated by Loki himself. If you ask the old Loki, who is the god of stories, he would reveal that he traveled back in time and first killed Boar by turning him into ice. Odin saw this from a distance and could have saved Boar, but he didn't because he wanted to become king. This, however, planted a seed of guilt in Odin, which Loki later used to his advantage. Loki disguised himself as a ghostly figure resembling Boar, haunted Odin, and tricked him by saying, "I will only forgive you if you adopt a child whose father you didn't kill." Soon after, Odin went to Jotunheim, killed Laufey, and adopted Loki. If you think about it, Loki's story could have gone in many directions, but he set up his origin in such a way that he became powerful enough to become the god of stories in the future. However, in this scene, since Loki mentions that even Boar called him a deceiver or a villain, we can conclude that Boar was alive when Odin adopted Loki. This is why Boar was able to call Loki a problem. Now, let's talk about Hercules, whose first appearance in the MCU was in the post-credits scene of Thor: Love and Thunder. In that scene, Zeus says to Hercules, "Son, go and teach those mortals a lesson because we gods have become a joke." To this, Hercules replies, "As you wish, father." In the comics, Hercules and Thor are great friends. But here, it seems they will fight each other. The most likely reason could be Thor's attack on Zeus, but it's also possible that their history is not very amicable. While Thor idolized Zeus to some extent, it's plausible that there was some rivalry between Hercules and Thor. Plus, Hercules calling Loki a problem implies that Loki must have done something to trigger Hercules or make him angry. Among the other names mentioned by Loki, many are fairly common, like the warriors Three and Laufey. Apart from these, Loki also mentions Boar, which I've already explained. He even names Heimdall, but there are two more significant names that haven't yet appeared in the MCU, but have alternate versions present. These are Absorbing Man and Amora, also known as the Enchantress. I say this because Amora, who hasn't appeared in the MCU yet, seems to have an altered version in the form of Sylvie, the character we've already seen. You can say that even though Sylvie is a variant of Loki, she still carries some influence of Amora. This could be because Loki and Amora might have had a relationship in the past, and the impact of that is reflected in the MCU. Now, if we talk about Absorbing Man, you probably already know about his powers. He can absorb the properties of whatever he touches. In the comics, he gained these powers by drinking a magical potion given to him by Loki. However, in the MCU, if we consider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as canon, these powers were the result of a Hydra experiment, which took place after the events of the Avengers movie. This raises a question. How did this Loki encounter Absorbing Man? It's unexplained unless we assume that Loki went on some off-screen mission where he met Absorbing Man. Another notable inconsistency we observed here is Loki mentioning Donald Blake, Thor's alternate identity, which Thor takes when he visits Earth. In the MCU, this identity has only been referenced but never fully shown. For example, in the first Thor movie, we see the name Donald Blake on a name tag, and in the third part, although Thor exists in human form, people still recognize him as Thor. This leaves us with two possibilities. This Loki we are seeing might not belong to the sacred timeline, but rather a different timeline, which is why his history and associations with others are entirely different. These inconsistencies didn't make enough sense, which is why the scene was deleted. Historically, deleted scenes often have a different context. Unless these scenes are referenced in future projects, they are not considered canon. For instance, if you look at a deleted scene from Thor: Love and Thunder, Zeus happily gives his thunderbolt to Thor, but this was not the case in the actual movie. Similarly, in the Avengers movie, Bruce Banner says he tried to end his life by shooting himself, but the Hulk spit out the bullet. This moment is actually from a deleted scene of the Incredible Hulk movie. So, you see, some deleted scenes are referenced later and become canon, while others are left out entirely. There's always a reason behind why a scene is deleted. How we interpret this particular scene depends on future projects. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and share it, and subscribe to our channel for more contents. To understand how powerful Sentry is, watch the video above. And to know the future of Henry Cavill's Wolverine, watch the one below. I'll be back with a new video soon.